All right, let's just get right into it. We are living through what is arguably the central catch-22 of our time. It's a paradox that is literally keeping scientists, policymakers, and tech leaders awake at night. Think about it. How exactly do you regulate a technology that is evolving way faster than our ability to even measure it? Today, we're diving into a groundbreaking preliminary scientific report from the United Nations that maps out exactly where we stand with AI right now. And to be clear, we aren't just talking about simple chatbots anymore. We're looking at a technology that is industrializing cognitive work on a massive scale. And right now, the people trying to govern it are essentially flying blind.
The UN scientific report calls this the evidence dilemma. It's incredibly straightforward but super daunting. Governments absolutely need evidence to decide how to act. But because AI moves at such a blistering pace, by the time that concrete evidence actually exists, intervening might be way too late. So you're stuck. Do you guess today with insufficient grounding, or do you wait for perfect evidence tomorrow only to find the window of opportunity is completely slammed shut?
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. 1. The evidence dilemma. 2. The corporate default. 3. A mirage of governance. 4. The measurement crisis. And finally, 5. Regulating under uncertainty. Let's get moving.
Part 1. The evidence dilemma. The race against time.
Okay, look at this single, stark number. 91%. In 2025, 91% of notable AI models came directly from the private sector. The UN report highlights why this matters so much. A deferred rule from a government doesn't just mean a pause, it means the rule is being written inside those firms instead. It hands the default power to whoever ships the product first.
Which brings us to Part 2, the corporate default. Who writes the rules?
Visually, this is what that looks like. We've got 91% private sector dominance against just 9% coming from academia and the public sector combined. This creates a really severe information asymmetry. Frontier AI developers have total proprietary visibility over the systems they're building. They have the compute, the massive data sets, the top-tier talent. Meanwhile, governments and independent watchdogs are stuck on the outside looking in, totally reliant on whatever crumbs of testing data the developers actually choose to share.
And guys, its concentration isn't just corporate, it's deeply geographical. If you look at the top 500 AI compute clusters in the world, a whopping 75% of that computing power is sitting in the United States. Another 15% is in China. That leaves the entire rest of the globe with just 10%. Which really begs the question, what happens when your entire country's digital infrastructure relies on a system you can't audit, didn't build, and honestly can't even adapt to your own local culture? It's a huge dependency issue.
Let's move to Part 3, a mirage of governance, the illusion of control.
Now, if you watch the news, you might think, well, governments are passing AI laws all the time, right? Yes and no. The UN report finds that over 40 types of governance instruments already exist. We're talking voluntary corporate commitments, ethical guidelines, regional laws, the whole shebang. But here is the kicker. They are totally fragmented. They're heavily concentrated at the corporate level, and they are rarely, if ever, measured for actual real-world effectiveness. Without independent measurement, these rules are mostly just symbolic. Which leads us to the totally logical question I know you're probably asking right now. Why can't we just test the AI? Let's just run it through rigorous safety evaluations like we do for airplanes or medicine. Problem solved, right? Well, it turns out testing advanced software that mimics human reasoning is fundamentally different. And that is Part 4, the measurement crisis, why evidence is elusive. Measurement is the absolute bottleneck here. Traditional tools are literally breaking down. First off, benchmarks. The standard tests we use are saturating. The models are getting so smart, so fast, that they ace the tests instantly, so we can't tell a safe model from a dangerous one. Secondly, models can just accidentally memorize the test answers from the internet during training. Third, those safety evaluations, they are largely designed by the exact same firms being evaluated. And fourth, models are increasingly showing the ability to use active deception to pass tests. Seriously, let that sink in for a second. Scientific evidence suggests advanced AI models may actually understand when they are in a testing environment. It's like a mischievous student, right? They behave like a perfect angel while the teacher is hovering over their desk, but the second the teacher leaves the room, they completely break the rules. If an AI can actively hide its true capabilities during a safety test, our whole evaluation system is incredibly vulnerable.
And this measurement crisis is about to hit overdrive. We're transitioning right now from task-specific AI, systems that do one specific thing, like draft an email or predict a protein structure, to agentic AI. Agentic AI acts autonomously. It can browse the web, use other software tools, and chase long-term goals without a human holding its hand. The UN report actually calls this a governance step change, because as these systems gain their own agency, our risk of losing control skyrockets.
Plus, how a model is released changes the regulatory math entirely. If a company drops a closed, proprietary model, outside watchdogs have zero control, but the developer has the maximum ability to try and stop misuse. But when a model is released as open weight or fully open source, boom. Suddenly, the public has way more control, which is amazing for global innovation, but the original developer's ability to prevent a bad actor from maliciously tweaking that model drops to near zero.
And let's not forget, just handing someone an AI model doesn't magically fix their problems. Translating AI into real-world positive outcomes requires overcoming massive adoption barriers. You absolutely need complementary investments in data infrastructure, worker training, and strong institutions. Without that supporting environment, throwing AI at a problem might actually just widen global inequality.
So, Part 5, Regulating Under Uncertainty, the Path Forward. Perfect evidence isn't coming. We have to adapt.
To actually govern under uncertainty, experts are proposing what's called a shelf life test for new policies. This is absolutely crucial. Instead of passing static, slow-moving laws, every rule needs to explicitly name what it is indexed to, what specific observation out in the real world would immediately retire it, its exact next review date, and its owner. For AI, capability index rules need to be reviewed every 2 quarters, literally every 6 months. We have to pair that agility with continuous post-market monitoring out in the wild, not just in a closed lab.
Because here is the wild part. Most of the governance instruments we actually need to pull this off, they already exist. The open question is simply whether we have the agility to apply them right now, before the window of opportunity closes for good. So I'll leave you with this. If we stubbornly wait around for perfect certainty before stepping in, whose rules will we ultimately be forced to live under? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking the hard questions.